Today I got another set of wireless systems here. This is the Godox MoveLink LT. It's a kit to two, which means two people can talk on this thing at the same time. So I'm going to be telling you guys everything you should know about this device. And a disclaimer, Godox actually did not send this unit to me. It was a seller from Amazon named Instro, and this video is not sponsored by anybody, and I don't get paid to say anything here, and all my words and opinions, they are my own. Now, before I say anything else here, I want you guys to know that everything that you hear right now is being recorded with the actual unit, and everything is being already post-processed in post-production, which means EQ and compression. I'm also going to be showing you guys how the audio will sound like with no compression, no post-production whatsoever, but when the time comes, I'm going to let you guys know. So this unit is good for pretty much any camera that you have, or cell phones, iPhones, Androids, also cinema cameras, DSLR, mirrorless cameras, everything that's got a 1/8 inch jack, this is going to work fine. The receiver that's currently hooked up to the camera right now, it features two gain levels, 50% and 100%, especially useful when you actually use iPhones and such. And I don't understand why the camera app that comes with this unit, unless you download the Film It Pro app, they should at least start including some sort of a view meter here so you can actually see your audio levels. You won't know until you actually play back the footage and try over and over again. I don't understand why Apple doesn't think that's important. When you fully charge these units, the battery can last as long as 6 hours on the transmitter and 8 hours on the receiver. So the first thing that I want to check when I actually test this product, can be any wireless, can be any microphone, can be anything, especially wireless, especially low budget items like this here, is how much noise floor I'm going to have. So with the Camera R3, its preamplifiers, they are a lot better than most mirrorless cameras, especially on the lower budget level. So what's doing right now, at least with the Canon R3, the audio sounds pretty clean as you can hear. There's not a lot of noise floor, but I still have to crank up the gain on the camera to 50% to reach at least minus 12 dBs right there. And again, this receiver features two levels of gain, so you can actually decrease the level down to 50%, which you don't want to do on a mirrorless camera, cinema camera, or a camcorder. What you're going to find that useful is for cell phones because the signal often tends to be a little hot. So for what it costs, I'm actually pretty satisfied with the quality of the sound here, and of course we're always going to have to EQ and especially compress, and everyone's preferences is different. I usually like a little bit more highs. I don't usually mess with the mid-range much, and I also filter all the low frequencies. Anything outside the voice frequency is going to be eliminated. And here's the audio of the unit without compression, without equalizer, without anything. It's just a raw audio that comes out of here to the camera, and it sounds like this. And I'm gonna be quiet for about 5-8 seconds to show you guys any noise floor that you might hear or not. I'm at a commercial studio here, so you're definitely going to hear some non-stoppable background noise from people walking on the wall here. So I'm gonna be quiet right now for 5-8 seconds, so there you go. Which, by the way, is actually a good environment to test these things, because when you actually go out or most places, you're going to deal with a little bit of noise, so it's actually much better than staying in a quiet room. So the background here is not too bad. It's just a little bit of a more music at a distance here, and occasionally some people walking by. But again, this is actually the best scenario to test these things as a real-world situation instead of a quiet place such as a recording studio for video. So I'm going to tell you guys a few things what I like and what I don't like about these units here. First of all, the size is great. It's very simplistic, very lightweight. And what I don't like about it is because these things don't feature a recorder, because I've seen a lot of these units out there that does feature a recorder. So I really want it to be a recorder because I find that the sound from a recorder is always superior. It has more body. I don't know, it just sounds a lot better. And of course, because it is a direct signal here instead of anything traveling in the air. So what I do, if this thing was a recorder / wireless, I was going to use the wireless for redundancy and also for ease of synchronization. But the final product, I would actually delete the actual sound from the wireless part and include only the recorder. It sounds much better. But for this unit, for being a wireless itself, I think it sounds pretty decent. There's no noise that I can hear or bother my recording. So at this price, I can't really complain. But still, they still make other units like this there that features a recorder. And I also have the older Godox MoveLink Mark I. And of course, that didn't feature any of these features such as a recorder built in. But I'm actually surprised how come the MoveLink 2, the Mark II, also does not feature a recorder. It only features wireless. I was really shocked that Godox did not provide a built-in recorder, at least on the MoveLink Mark II, the full size, the big square ones here. No, they don't come with a recorder, just wireless. Now next I'm gonna be doing a sound test, because what good is a review if you don't show how far this thing can go before the audio starts to go bad, right? So right now I'm gonna show you. So right now I'm outside, I'm gonna be doing a distance test here to show you guys how this behaves. So right now I'm actually 1 meter from the camera, so I'm gonna start walking and testing 1, 2, 3, which by the way, I actually have the windscreen hooked up right here. So testing 1, 2, testing 1, 2, 3. I'm gonna go way over there. That should be plenty. So testing 1, 2, 3. There's some wind here. Definitely some wind, and you can also hear the sound of the streets anyway. I don't need to be talking here the whole time. It probably helps. Now I'm going to be actually crossing here, so concrete is going to be in the way here. So out of sight of the camera, and then right here, straight line of sight. So I'm at a pretty reasonable distance right here. I don't think people need to go anywhere beyond that point right there. So testing 1, 2, 3. I'm also going to be running to see if this thing makes any noise. So stop right now. So there you go, guys. Maybe I think this test should be enough here to give you guys an idea what this thing can do. And I'm also going to be removing this here now to see if there's any problem with noise and everything. So I'm not going to go far right now. This should be okay here. Right now there's just a little breeze. You know, the plants are not even moving here. There's not like a lot of wind or anything like that. So it's what it sounds like without the little windscreen protector here. So that should conclude my test. Even though this unit comes with 2 transmitters, which means you can actually record both people at the same time, but keep in mind that you cannot record in stereo, which means you have a separate channel from the person A and the person B, so you will always record in mono. We just walk right here.
No problem.
So right now we have 2 units. So I'm talking right here.
You can't even feel it. It's very light.
Yeah.
It works great.
Right. And with some wind, hopefully there's no wind here.
Well, that's the thing. We'll see if it picks it up, right?
Yeah, the only disadvantage is it does not record in stereo, only mono.
Okay, it's only in
Because
mono.
you don't have control left and right channel. So
if we both speak at the same time,
you got only one
it
track.
comes. Okay.
So thanks for the test.
No problem.
I would say most people watch the video in this format right here, so sometimes they forget to like and to share the video, especially subscribing to the channel. I would really appreciate it. It means a lot to me. So if you want to take the time, that tells me that I'm doing a good job here. I'm trying my best. So right now I'm going to show you guys how this microphone sounds like directly aimed through my mouth. This is actually particularly useful in case you are recording a wedding. For example, the ceremony, you hook this up on the microphone of the church there. So the speaker is going to be speaking this way, which of course it sounds crisper because my voice is actually shooting right at the thing. And when I hold the microphone this way here, of course the voice is still being projected this way, but the microphone is still able to capture, at least 70% of what's coming out of my mouth. And also when you actually hold the microphone this way here, this is an omnidirectional microphone, which means it picks up sound from 360 degrees. So as long as you keep this in the same distance, the voice should not change much. I don't know until I hear in post-production, but this is a test also. Whole 360, so the microphone is pointing to you guys. So testing 1, 2, 3, testing 1, 2. Now right on my mouth right here and on the side, so this is what it sounds like. Just in case you need this test, it's down here. Now let's talk about noise cancellation feature. I don't understand why every single manufacturer thinks it's cool to install this feature right here, because to me it sounds like MP3 at 56 kilobits resolution. It sounds like all those digital artifacts, that underwater type of sound. I'm actually going to demonstrate this to you right now. Luckily, this particular manufacturer, Godox, is not that easy to activate because the other devices that I review here, one single touch on the power button is going to activate that. You don't want this. Imagine you give this to somebody and then you only find out that the whole video was recording on that. So this thing requires a double press. I got to make sure that it is. It should highlight in pink. There you go. Now this is the beautiful noise cancellation feature that sounds like underwater. You know, so this is what it sounds like. In my opinion, you should never apply this unless you're doing something for fun. It's very windy on the beach, recording with a phone, something that doesn't really matter, just a little bit of fun. Okay, go ahead by all means and activate this feature. Now I'm going to deactivate this thing here, and I want to make sure that I'm actually visibly seeing is actually blinking green. Double press the power button, there you go. Now the sound is back to normal. Never use the noise cancellation feature because it does not sound great. All manufacturers, they should actually kill this whole thing here and or make it as difficult as possible to make this engage right here. So this one here, they did a good job for having to press twice right here. So again, it sounds like, I can't say this on YouTube, and then it sounds great right here. I'm gonna do a few more tests with this windscreen, so just for the heck of it, nobody's gonna do that, but anyway, just to show you. So remove it, you hear some wind noise, and then when you install this, which can be done very quickly, and as you can see, it drastically reduces the wind, right? So when you actually speak on the unit very close like this and directly into your mouth, you're going to detect some plosives, as you can see, plosive. The air shoots right through it. So all you have to do is to aim the microphone slightly on the side here, which does not alter your voice. Now you can do whatever you want. It's not going to have any plosive effects. So butter, Peter, Paul, plosive, butter, Peter, Paul. As you can see, there's a big difference right here. Right now I have both devices on, testing 1, 2, 3, test 1, 2, right? So one interesting thing I want to show you guys right now is something that most people don't know about it, the problems that you can actually achieve or have with any microphone, not only this unit, but any microphone. It's called phasing, which means your voice can sound like, that's called phasing. For example, if this microphone is actually far away from this unit here, there's no phasing. See, testing 1, 2, so my S sound here, it sounds clean. Watch what happens when you actually put two units together. You hear the difference? So you speak, you sound weird like that. See, the voice sounds completely weird. So the 3-to-1 rule is, for example, explaining very quickly here, if this thing is actually 2 inches from my mouth, the other microphone should be no closer than 6 inches apart. This is why it's called the 3-to-1 rule. So there's no phasing. Now watch what happens. So there you go, just to keep that in mind. So if you actually have a person talking right next to you here, somebody wearing the, you're wearing one and the other person is wearing the other one, most likely you're going to have some phasing. So keep that in mind. So if the microphone is actually this far from your mouth here, about, I don't know, 5 inches away, the next person must be no closer than 15 inches away. Again, that's what the 3-to-1 rule is for. These units, not only you can actually choose black, but they're also making white and at least 2 other different colors, so which is pretty cool. Another thing that I want to say here, something that I don't like about this unit is because even before I received the unit, I already knew that I had to buy some adapters here, because if you use mirrorless cameras or DSLRs, because the microphone input is right here and the headphone is right under, I actually bought both adapters, especially the design of this unit, they actually have to choose what plug they want. So the only way that this can actually be connected here is this way. You can move it a little bit to the side. You can still put your headphones in here, but when you actually start, you want to flip the screen or put HDMI cables in here, so it gets a little tricky. And then all you have to do is to connect it this way. So this way you can actually move the unit up and down, sideways. You can even have this cable to kind of hang the unit this way here. So let's do a quick unboxing here. The first thing you're going to see is this little included cloth, which is nice. And here's the actual box that contains everything, and also some lanyard right here. And a USB-C type cable, the manual, and here's what's inside the box. As soon as you open the box, they turn on automatically. And this means when they turn blue, they're actually paired. If they're not paired, you just press this pair button right here, and they're gonna be flashing orange, and then when they're done, they're gonna be all in blue. This adapter is a TRS for cell phones in general, and over here is the TRS plug for camcorders, cinema cameras, mirrorless cameras, DSLRs. And right here is an Apple Lightning adapter. Here's some windscreens, and at the bottom here, don't lose this part. This is actually used to eject this plug from here. So I'm gonna use the TRS adapter because I'm using the Canon R3 as a mirrorless camera. It requires this type of plug. As you can see, the connectors are right on top here, so make sure they are in the same orientation so you don't break the unit. All you have to do is to push it in all the way until you hear click. And then this little pin here to eject this, the only way this is going to come out is a little hole right there. And you want to do this as straight as possible, gently. Now the good thing about this little hole here, when you actually put this back, there's some resistance right here, especially when you push all the way down. You're not going to be able to lose this easily. And here are the transmitters. They are identical, very simplistic. It features a clip on the back, and the microphone is on top, as you can see here. Nothing on the bottom. There's no USB of any kind. You have to charge all these units in the box right here, always in this orientation. When you unbox this and nothing turns on is because they come with a protective film right here from factory, so make sure you remove that little plastic, otherwise you'll never be able to connect this to that. The top unit, which is larger, this is the receiver, and this one here is the transmitter. So the only button you're going to see on these units, transmitter and receiver, is simply the power button, which is located right here on the side of the unit. So right now the unit is in normal operation mode, which is blue LED. To mute the unit, simply press quickly the power button. It flashes red, which means you're on mute right now. To go back to the unmute, press it once again. When you press it twice, you're going to be entering the noise cancellation feature, which I don't recommend using that unless you're doing something for fun that doesn't require anything critical. And to disable the noise cancelling feature, press the power button twice again. It's going to flash green, which means it's on normal audio mode. The receiver, the power button is on top, and this comes with 2 levels of gain. So when you actually tap on the power button quickly, it's going to highlight quickly a pink, which tells you they are at minus 43 dBs, which is ideal for cell phones. Usually cell phone requires a little bit of attenuation, so there you go. Now for cinema cameras, camcorders, DSLRs, and mirrorless cameras, you tap the power button again, it's going to flash green, and then you are at minus 33 dBs. I'm using the minus 33 for my Canon R3. And I still have to bump the gain on the camera all the way to 50%. So if you're not using a cell phone, you want to record this with a mirrorless DSLR, cinema camera, or camcorder, make sure you are actually on the green mode here, which brings back to the full gain of this unit, which is going to allow you to set the gain on your camera, camcorder, cinema camera a lot lower. So the lower the gain, the less noise floor. So going back to the noise cancellation feature here, I think most manufacturers, they should stop including this feature here because I don't like the way it sounds. So you want to make sure that you are not on the pink thing here. You want to make sure you are on the green. If you see the LEDs are actually flashing green, that means they are on pairing mode. It takes about 2 to 3 seconds, and this is done automatically every time they are inside this box here. Now, because of the design, how this thing connects here, sometimes you're going to be having a little bit of a problem monitoring your audio, installing a headphone on your camera there, especially DSLRs and mirrorless cameras, because the microphone and headphone jack, they are like right under each other. I actually bought 2 adapters, which is this one here. I'm going to leave the link in the description if you need something like this. It's a very short cable, very thin, very manageable. It's a stereo to stereo, so you don't lose anything mono to stereo. Or you can actually have this angle adapter here. So when this is connected right here, you simply plug this in here and connect the other end to your camera's microphone input. Now, one thing that I like with this particular design here is how clean that installs on the iPhone, for example. So it looks very nice and clean. And that's the end of my review. I hope you found the contents of this video helpful. If you want to subscribe to the channel, it really means a lot to me. And if you actually have any questions, please drop them down in the comment section. I'll respond to everything that I see there. So once again, thank you so much for being here, and I'll see you next time.